Brandon, and I am going to be talking about Introduction to Disaster. What is disaster? A disaster is basically any naturally occurring event that can cause damage to the population and can cause loss of human life and deterioration of the environment. The various topics we're going to be discussing under this topic is going to be classification, types, coping, overview, and the prevention.
Hello, my name is Frederic, and I'll be talking on the classification of disasters. Traditionally, disasters are being classified on the criterions of casual agents. In addition, new criteria are now in use, such as frequency and speed of onset. Talking on the casual agents, this criterion is being divided into two categories. That is, those that occur due to natural processes and those that occur due to human activities. Natural disasters are being triggered by geological and climatic variability, which is at least partly beyond human control, while human disasters are being caused by human activities such as industrial processes, socio-political conflicts, and economical activities. Then I'll be talking on the specific speed of onset, which is the suddenness or slowness to which disasters occurs in a way that they can be classified. This criterion deals with the may lead to critical damage, which will especially saving of lives and moving of properties. Most disasters come and go rapidly or suddenly, and these disasters that come and go rapidly or suddenly are said to be rapid or sudden onset disasters. And an example of these disasters are earthquakes, volcanic eruptions. Why some disasters come slowly, and they are said to be called slow onset disasters.
I'm called Lena Rika, and I'm here to talk on the different types of disasters. There are many different types of disasters, but the most common and important ones are the natural disasters. Natural disasters are disasters that are caused by the forces of nature. For instance, we have earthquakes, there is hurricanes, there is flood and wildfires. Under natural disasters, we have some various types of disasters, which include water and climate related disasters. These are some of the most common and devastating types of disasters. For example, we have floods, storms and droughts. Climate changes causes these disasters to become more common and severe. For example, we have rising sea levels in coastal areas, which makes the area more vulnerable to flood and storms. Another form of disaster is the geological related disasters. Here, this type of disaster is caused by the movement and the deformation of the earth crust. For example, we have earthquakes, we have volcanic eruptions. This type of disaster it is very dangerous, and it is the most disruptive in the world. For instance, we have it causes damages to infrastructures, it causes injuries and loss of lives. Thank you.
My name is Ngesom Marie Frederic. To add to what my classmate said about types of disaster, I'll be talking about the human-caused disaster. The human-caused disaster is caused by human actions. I'll be talking about the three types. We have the technological disaster, the accidental disaster, the chemical, industrial, and nuclear-related disaster. The technological disaster is talking about a disaster caused by human-made systems, which are chemical spills, forest fire, and electrical disaster. Okay, the second is talking about accidental disaster, which talks about examples. We have air crash, airplane crash, we have bridge collapse, and oil spills. This disaster caused damage to the environment. And accidental disaster includes airplane crash, bridge collapse, and oil spill. This type of disaster causes damage to the environment and human health. We'll talk about the chemical, industrial, and nuclear related disaster, which has to do with power plants accidents. Thank you.
I'm called Kanga Onela. To add to what my coursemate said about the types of disasters, we have the biological disasters. These are disasters caused by living organisms, which causes diseases like malaria, and pests, which affects plants, which lead to shortage of food. Then, which has an impact to humans' health and their economic well-being. Then we have the pandemic disaster, which is an outbreak of infections. Then examples we have COVID-19. Thank you.
I'm called Kimbi Avan Awa. I'm going to be talking about the causes of disaster. There are many causes of disaster, but the most common ones, which include 1. Geographical location. Settlement in hazard areas, for example, like earthquake zones, will experience disaster. We also have settlements like valleys. They will experience landslide. The second cause is environmental degradation. Here, you will experience deforestation, where it will lead to soil erosion and landslides. Another cause is poverty and unequal distribution of wealth. Here, poverty can make people vulnerable to disaster, and we also have their lack of education, which will not give them the economic power to cope with disaster. Thank you.
My name is Joanne Mary. I want to continue from where my colleague ended on the causes of disaster. I want to take on the climate changes. Climate changes are caused by greenhouse gases. These greenhouse gases, they cause acid rain, which when they fall on the ground, they cause damages to living organisms. We also have global warming, which causes rise in sea level, and this rise in sea level causes coastal flow. We also have urbanization. This urbanization can be caused by conflict, which cause people from rural areas to migrate to urban areas in seek for refuge and economic opportunities. And when they are in these urban areas, they can be prone to no option than to build their houses in disaster areas. For example, we have Bogota in Colombia. Most of the population in this country build their houses in steep areas, which are prone to landslides. And also, more than 60% of the population in Colombia, they build their houses in thorn areas. And also in Cameroon, we have Bonaberi in Douala, and also Limbe in Kibuya. These areas are mostly dominated by prone areas for flood.
Hello, I am Commander Brandon. I am going to be speaking about the overview disaster profile in Africa. So in Africa, most especially in Cameroon, we suffer a lot from this natural disaster, and there's a very poor management system put in place to take care of these things. And for example, the examples that I'm going to be speaking on, we're going to have the climatic, we're going to have the geological, biological, but I'm going to emphasize mostly on the climatic. Climatic, we have floods. From the year 1900 to 2000, over 40 million people have been affected from floods, killing 20,000, and $4 billion in property damage have been done. Speaking about droughts, mostly the sub-Saharan areas of Africa are mostly affected, with rainfalls ranging from 150 to 600 millimeters per year. And these low temperatures cause lack of water. This lack of water actually causes livestock to be damaged.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is
Captain Wete Maiba. I'm here to talk about the overview profile of disaster in Cameroon. In Africa, especially Cameroon, there are many of them, but I'll name some few ones. They have climate-related, geological, biological, astrophysical, and human-induced hazards. I'll lay emphasis on the biological and the human-induced hazards. Biological, you have the Ebola virus diseases, commonly called the Ebola hemorrhagic fever. This disease mostly affects human and some primates, which contribute to death, and commonly known as the worldwide disease, which has killed almost 90% of the world population. We have pest infestation. Pest infestation like locusts affect our crops, plant and agriculture, which lead to famine and poverty, leading to death. We have human-induced hazards. Human-induced like air and water pollution, and some as urbanization occurs, there's growth of industries leading to pouring of chemical inside water and disposal of waste everywhere, leading to pollution and causing death worldwide. That's my speaking.
Good afternoon, class. My name is Ali Elvis, and I'm going to pick up from where my partner left off based on the natural hazards or natural disaster profile in Cameroon. My area of focus is going to be on the geological hazards. These geological hazards includes or is caused by natural factors. Natural factors which include landslides, mud flows, erosion, and siltation. These are all natural factors that affect geological hazards in Cameroon or in Africa. These are mostly caused or affected by different rock and soil types, the vegetation, the topography, and the rainfall pattern. Mass movements are affected by the different rock types, the different soil types, the vegetation, the topography, and the rainfall pattern. Aside from natural effects, human activities are also the cause of geological hazards. Speaking of human activities, I'm talking about deforestation, overpopulation, and poor land management.
Hello, I'm called Mabet Ines, and I'm talking about disaster risk reduction. Disaster risk reduction is a whole sector of work on disaster management. It includes mitigation, preparedness, vulnerability, and so on. The UNIDRR defines disaster risk reduction as the systemic development and application of policies, strategies, and practices of managing vulnerability and disaster risk. Talking about mitigation. Mitigation is a measure and the methods taken to reduce the likelihood and severity of a disaster on the society. It addresses the underlying cause of vulnerability. Vulnerability refers to the characteristics of a society that makes it susceptible to the damages caused by a disaster. Risk reduction deals with the ways to reduce or minimize the disaster's effects on the society. Preparedness deals with the development of a plan and system to effectively respond to a disaster. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm called Mokam Kamdem Sandri, and I'm going to talk about the practical ways of reducing natural disasters. There are various ways of reducing natural disasters. Some of them include, we have land use planning, we have infrastructure improvement, we have climate change mitigation, and education of the community and preparedness. So on climate change mitigation, taking actions on reducing the emission of greenhouse gases can lead to a reduction of the risk of natural disasters and reduce the frequency and severity of the disasters. So also we have community education and preparedness.
you.